Well, if you start off the game the way we did, and from every aspect of defensive intensity, coming out with an edge, we dug such a big hole, and then we crawled out of that. But the rebounding was poor, free throws were poor. It's hard to win like that.
Do you see a lack of focus and concentration?
Well, the thing that we were on the road and we had a great edge against OKC and then Chicago, and in this league, if you exhale at all, you're in trouble. And so, we didn't have the edge that we needed, and we got to be able to count on our defense. And I watched in preparing for these guys. They've been rolling. They've been playing really well, and then we started the game poorly.
Down the stretch, did some guys, do you think, run out of gas a little bit? Derek and a few of those.
It's hard to say when you're expending a lot of energy when you're digging out of a hole like that. But then we had the lead, and the second shot really hurt us. We gave them second shot after second shot down the stretch.
What was the difference in the defense in the third quarter and early in the fourth? You gave up 64 points in the first 20 minutes and 30 in the second 20 minutes.
No, to me, it's you have to have a multiple effort mentality. You have to be disciplined. You can't just run around randomly. You got to read the ball well, and then you have to fly around. And if you're not doing that, it's not going to be good. And it only takes one guy not to be doing it.
That final play in regulation, was that meant to be an ISO for Derek?
Well, it was a high pick and roll that was a slip play. So, you're up, the score's tied, so you want to take it down and make sure that you're not leaving time. But it's not necessarily for him. It ended up being that way. But Cat's slipping out, and there's, you're making a read off that.
On the play in regulation that Atlanta tied the game up on, was that a miscommunication with Cat and Charge, or what went wrong on that inbounds?
Yeah, I want to take a look at it. You're in protection. We knew they were going to trap. And in those situations, you got to read the screen, and then you got to make sure you're running through the ball. So I want to see what happened on the play.
The foul at the end of the game, when Andrew got to the free throw line there, you did have a timeout. You had a good result. What were you liking? What you were seeing? How the floor was laid out in that way? And trusting the guys.
The transition break. Yeah. Because it looked like the floor balance was off. So usually in that situation, if you see something clear, you try to take it before the defense can get set, and if it is set, then you use the timeouts.
Coach, were you given an explanation on the final play of the game on Josh
weren't.
Creating the contact? Or?
No, there was no explanation.
What happened with Rose coming out at the end?
He tweaked his ankle.
Tom, do you have a hard time getting a grip on what this team is right now? It seems like they will play well for a stretch and then stub their toe a couple of times in a row, come home after two good road wins, and then have a game like this.
Yeah, it's something we have to continue to look at, try to figure out.
How do you handle the aftermath of a situation where Dario throws the ball away, Wiggins misses a lot of really important free throws in crunch time? You immediately go back to you give them some time off? Do you go back to it hard? What's your sense of the best way to treat this team right now?
Well, tomorrow's a travel day, and we go back on the road. But we just talked about, to have a strategy basically for everything. And if you're missing free throws, obviously you have to put the extra work in. We shoot free throws every day, so it's the same thing if you're not shooting well. If you're going through a stretch of, I look at last 3, last 5, last 10 every day, so I know who's going pretty good and who's not, and then you try to make sure you're mapping out, what you're doing after, what you're doing before, and what you're doing during, and so, and whether you win or lose, to try to develop an understanding of why, and then make the corrections from there.
in the first half with that defense, just, I mean, was everything going wrong there? I mean, what did you see that just couldn't get going on that side? I mean,
defensive transition, pick and roll defense, rebounding, challenging shots. You can't come out like that. The players in this league are too good.
Does it leave you just scratching your head, the slam dunk by Covington that doesn't go, a layup that just slips out of his hands there late in the game?
Yeah, I mean, and those are big plays.
The Hawks lead the NBA in pace. Do you think you guys maybe struggle with teams that play with a higher pace?
No, because I think we're 10th in pace. So I think we can score the ball pretty well. It's all the other aspects of, it's not only pace, but it's, challenging threes. It's everything. So when there's a lot of teams that are high in pace that aren't high in wins, so you're more concerned with the overall scheme of it.